Hey, come on outside. We want to show you something. Welcome to Decorating Tips and Tricks. I'm Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is episode 324, Perfect Porch, Patio, and Deck Decor Ideas. We are so excited to get outside and give you all sorts of ideas about how you can make your spaces more beautiful and more user-friendly. So let's dive into the episode today. It is a listener request episode, actually, from Debbie B. So Debbie, thanks so much for this great idea. And thanks for getting it in a timely manner so we can get this recorded and out there and people can start taking action on these ideas right away to really liven up their spaces.
Well, and as it warms up in the spring, nothing sounds better to me than getting outside and enjoying the beautiful weather. You know, you've been cooped up all winter. And it's just so exciting to go outside and feel that fresh air and breathe in the air and see the beautiful flowers. It's really an exciting time, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, even though it's really beautiful here most of the year, we had our rainy season. And then to be honest with you guys, like by August or July and August, it gets so hot. I'm probably not going to be sitting out in my yard. So there really is this, maybe on my front porch, but not in the backyard. So there is this sort of like beautiful window of opportunity. So we want you'll be listening to this if you listen on the day it comes out on April 17th. So that seems to be plenty of time. Even if you live in cold weather, I'm hoping it's warming up for you by then and you can get these things going. It's not that much to do to really spruce up your outdoor space. This is the time of year where I love to be out in my backyard. I have planted this pink-throated jasmine to climb up this sort of wire mesh that I've attached between some pillars all along the side yard. And it is in full bloom right now. It smells so good. I mean, I'm just so delighted that it's actually working. And it seems like it takes a while for the jasmine to get rolling, but once it starts rolling, it grows. It seems like while you're watching it, it's growing. And I'm weaving it in and out of the wire mesh. And it's really making a wall of jasmine. It's beautiful right now.
That grows pretty fast too.
Yeah. So that's been great. So that really gets me out in the yard this time of year. And I need to do some things in my yard. So I'm excited to hear Anita's tips and also to incorporate some of the ones that I have found in my research for this episode.
Okay. Well, I wanted to just kind of start from the beginning and say that just like last episode, we talked about treating the bathroom like any other room in your house and decorating it like, just respecting it and decorating it as well as you would any other room in your house. I like to think of that same approach for the porch, the patio, the deck, and treat this like a room inside my house. I think that, it's easy for us to ignore it because it's outside the house. But if you really want it to be inviting, I think first off, that is the approach that I want to suggest that you take with it. And so the first thing, I always say this, but I think it works outside too. Take a picture. Take a picture. Take some close-up pictures. And then also go on your porch, your deck, whatever area we're talking about. Pretend like you're a visitor and just walk around and just notice everything that you don't normally look at. And that's when you're going to see what needs to be cleaned, what looks neglected. I think you're going to pick up a lot of ideas on what needs to be done just from taking a very close look at everything and taking some pictures.
That's a great point. I mean, I love that tip, and I use that tip now that you told me about taking the pictures. I didn't really consider it for outside. And I think that is probably a great idea. I'm going to do that. I also had at the top of my list is decorate your outdoors like it's an actual room. There are plenty of outdoor materials that mimic the decor that we have inside. It may be made of something different, like maybe a resin material, but it might look like a settee that you could have inside. Accessorize it, all these things. So we'll go into the details on what we mean by all of that. But yes, most certainly think of your outdoor space as you would a room inside. And another way to think about your outdoor space with respect to a room, if it's a large space or sort of a very flat square or rectangle type of suburban backyard, try to think about how you can break it up into air quotes rooms, different areas, different destination areas, because it will actually make the space look bigger rather than if it's just this wide swath of grass with, maybe a few chairs or in the center. If you break it up, it's going to have more interest. It's going to actually live larger. You'll have areas that you go for certain activities. Maybe you have a barbecue area. Maybe you have a hammock where you read, or maybe have an area with some sort of little fire pit and some chairs around it, something like that. Think about how you can break up that space into rooms. And then if you have a smaller space, you might say to yourself, oh, breaking it up, that's a bad idea. It's going to make it look smaller. But I'm telling you, trust me, it's going to make it feel bigger.
Well, and it's just more usable that way because you want to think about how are you going to use it. So on our back porch at the farm, I have a dining room and a living room, basically. And that's the way I've done it. So we actually, I know this is very weird and not normal, but I have a china cabinet on my back porch and a long wooden table. And on the other end of the porch, I have more seating and rocking chairs. And I have a little crib that I use, I put a cushion on, and we use that for seating as well. And actually, anyway, I don't want to get too far into that, but
No, but it's a magical space. And I mean, if anybody has followed your blog, seen your pins on Pinterest, on your Instagram, that is a spectacular space. And I know you sort of joke like, oh, that's weird. I have a China cat and stuff like that. But that's what makes the space so interesting and fabulous, because you didn't buy a couple of folding chairs at Target or Home Depot that look like outdoor chairs and unfold them and plop them in on the porch and call it a day. You styled it in a way that enhances not only the space itself, but that has this flow with your inside and out. So in a sense, also extending your square footage, like claiming that outdoor space as usable space, and that it's part of your whole home.
Interestingly, you're talking about that, and our space is not usable in inclement weather if the rain is going sideways or if it's too cold. And so one of the things we're going to do, it's certainly on my list, although this is going to take me a while to find it, are to put in, have you ever been to a restaurant where they have an outdoor seating area and when it's raining, they have those, or if it's cold, they have those vinyl sheets that go around the area?
Mm-hmm, sure.
Yeah, I'm looking into buying some of those, and they actually go kind of on a wire, and they kind of go like curtains. I mean, that's one way you can buy them. So I'm actually looking into buying some of those for our porch. So I think that it'll because our porch in bad weather becomes a wind tunnel.
Right.
So, that's something to think about. Now, as it cools off, we're probably not going to be, or warms up, excuse me, you're probably not going to be needing that too much. But it's just something that just made me think of it. That's something I'm going to be working on.
Yeah. I mean, if you're creating these beautiful spaces, you definitely want to take that sort of thing into consideration. Like, oh, you might be decorating out there in April and it's 60 some odd degrees, but what's it going to feel like out here in July? So maybe you need more umbrellas, or maybe you would consider creating some sort of pergola or something like that to give you some shade. So those are all things that you should just obviously need to take in consideration because you are outside.
Right. But not just for taking into account for when you're using the space, but if you have some things out there that need some protection from the elements, you might think about how exposed they are going to be to rain and sun and wind, and just make sure that, the pieces you have out there are protected enough for whatever kind of protection they need. Is because, like, for example, we had a kind of a dresser on the front porch that was painted and everything, and it got so much sun, we pulled the drawer out as we were cleaning and it just collapsed. So we had to get rid of that. But the china cabinet on the back porch has fared very well. Now I've painted that with outdoor paint, but also it does not get the sun and the wind and the rain like the front porch did. So just keep in mind, how protected your area is.
Yeah. And if you want to use items like that, and you're okay with it living with you for about a season or two. If you thrift something and it costs you $10 or something like that, then maybe you don't care and you'd love to have it out there and you can use it as some sort of, bar station or a side table or something like that. Go for it. And if it lasts for a little while, it lasts for a little while. And then you could always find another table for $5 or something and have it in its place. I've had the same thing where I've had something out in the sun and all of a sudden it's like warped and whatever. But it was a great potting table or something for a couple of seasons. I would say if you can avoid the real outdoor looking plastics, there's so many materials, metals, cement, aluminum, resins, wicker that's a resin-like material. There's so many nice outdoor materials now that are not really that expensive. So you just don't have to get those sort of plastic stacking chairs and things like that. You can really take it up a notch for not much more.
Well, and we have a real wood table on our back porch, and the secret is when it's not in use, we put a tarp on it so the rain isn't getting to it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
but that's a little more high maintenance. So, just keep in mind what you're willing to do as well.
Exactly. Something that we did is I thrifted from, not really a thrift store, but from a really great garage sale one year, a metal table with 6 metal chairs, and it didn't come with a top. And I always thought, I'll get a piece of glass cut. But the glass outside, I've had glass tables that I've kept outside, and that's a pain in the neck. You have to keep wiping it off. It doesn't always looks good, and the pollen and all of that. So we made a cement top for it. So just had a wooden frame made and poured the cement in and made it right on top of the table. And that's been awesome.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't cost very much money at all to do that. I mean, we had somebody help us on the weekend do it. The table now weighs probably about 400 pounds.
Yeah, you're not moving it. Yeah.
I'm glad I like where we decided to put it because it's really not going anywhere. But that was a great way to go.
You're not putting sliders under that thing?
Oh, no, sliders. That'd be so funny. Just a little dishcloth, drag it across the lawn. Lots of times when I'm out at yard sales and things like that, you see metal outdoor tables. And usually they have a little rust on them, something which I don't have to tell you how you can cure that with a little spray paint, not a big deal. And then you can make the cement top, and it's so cool. It looks really very modern and fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we have some down by the creek that are going to have to be, it just, unless you really keep on top of maintaining them, and some of these pieces down by our creek, we haven't. I mean, they're just only going to last so long. So I'm getting ready to replace a table down there. So yeah, so you do have to be aware of what the exposure is going to be to the elements. And one thing, let me just talk about this, maybe not decorating so much, but so we were having some people out to the farm, and I was cleaning everything, and I was looking at our front door, and it really needed a paint, a touch of paint. It was kind of a raspberry color, and just the door, not the whole house. Don't worry. but red fades faster than any other color. And so it really looked so faded.
Were you looking at my hair when you said that, lady?
No. Silly thing. So I just was thinking, what am I going to do? I don't have time to paint it. And I thought, well, I'm just going to clean it. Well, then I thought, I was thinking about this product I've talked about before, which is the Sun Shield, which is kind of an oil and a protectant, Howard's product. And it is really for a stained wood door. It's not really for paint, but I was kind of in a desperate spot, and I thought, what would this look like if I put this on here? You would not believe it looked like fresh paint.
Oh, wow.
It did. It's not for painted doors, but if you're in a pinch, put that on. Or you know what? I think even linseed oil would work. And it just, how it made it look wet instead of dry.
Oh.
And that's kind of what it does. The oil makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was my little secret. My little tip.
Good tip. You're full of good tips. Try salvage things in your yard, like we're saying, things that you can thrift, or it doesn't have to be like a table or something like that. You could just find a cool piece of salvage metal, an old gate, something like that. That is such a fun thing to add to your garden and have it little area of interest. Maybe you can grow a vine on it or something like that, or create a little cutting garden in front of it. If you have a heavy gate or piece of fencing, you can even dig a trench and then put some cement in, and you make sure that it doesn't tilt or fall over. That's what we did in the front of our house, because there was a lot of old metal fencing and gate material that was left here by the prior owner, and he had intended to circle the whole house with it, but I wanted to just use a little bit of it, kind of like in homage to his idea, but I didn't want to use all of it all around the house. So we just put it in the front on two sides of the walkway with some metal pillars on either side, and sort of gave it an accent and created an area of a garden in front of it. So that's a fun thing to do. And you can find those kinds of items at a lot of either estate sales, thrift stores, yard sales, things like that. Salvage yards is a great place to go for stuff like that.
Right. And this is the time to be looking also at your front doormat and your back doormat. How do they look?
This is the time to look at those things. You're absolutely right.
Well, I mean, just look at
them.
No
better time.
Well, I mean, if they don't look good, I mean, they're so inexpensive to replace. And now such a great time. So, I mean, some people probably do this every year, but yeah, this is a great time to go look. And there's so many pretty ones that have lots of color. So, go for something fun if you want, something kind of whimsical. I think that's a great way to just make it look fresh and fun and inviting at your house. And while you're doing that, I just started thinking about, what about an outdoor rug? I love that look. And there's so many beautiful outdoor rugs available. I actually had an extra rug from inside the house left over, and it was an outdoor rug made to look like sisal. And so I just put that under our dining room table out on the back porch. So anyway, we'll see how it goes, but it's made for the outdoors. So I think it'll hold up, for a while.
I really want to do that on our patio. So in our yard, the backyard, we have some grass area, and then we have a bricked patio area. And that's where I have the outdoor seating and whatnot. And I thought that would be so great, because a rug does so much in an outdoor space, because, it's the great outdoors for a reason. It's big. Even if you don't think you have a big yard, it's open to the sky. There's no confines. So you try to humanize the scale so people can feel comfortable. You know how people always want to be in the smaller space, right? So I think a rug outside, not only does it anchor your area and create a natural area for your chairs and coffee table and things like that to go, but it also sort of humanizes the scale. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, but it's also a great way to add some color and pattern to the space.
Yeah,
as well.
So it's doing a lot for you. I'm hesitant to buy one because the sun beats down so hard in my backyard. I really want, and a rug of the size that I need, they're not that cheap. So I really want to make sure, if you have any recommendations on ones that have really withstood the elements.
Well, you might go with something that's not bright colors then, so that if it fades, it's not going to be so obvious.
That's a good point. Yeah, the fading would not look so good. And like you said about the doormats and stuff, honestly, I think very few things look as cruddy as those core rugs that have seen better days.
Yes.
It's like that. It's just telltale yuck. Just get rid of that. Throw it out. Start
and
over.
That's the thing that I know for me, my brain just ignores it until someone's coming over. And I just happen to glance over and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that looks
the greatest motivator is someone coming over. Yes.
But I mean, I don't even notice it though the rest of the time. It's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm not going to do that. It's like, right. My brain just doesn't even focus on it.
Yeah.
So how about porch curtains? I love this idea. And actually, I had put up some railings. I was going to do that at our farm. But then I realized that it was so windy that the curtain I am not making, it was completely horizontal. It was like we were flying a flag.
Take it easy, Dorothy. Yes.
We couldn't do it. But I love the look. If you don't have too much wind, I think it would be beautiful.
Well, I made those for the one side of our porch, and I just had a metal, like a plumbing pipe that we bought.
A conduit, probably conduit.
Could be a conduit engineer, lady. Yeah. And then the metal pole conduit, it ran from either side to side. And then I have the metal holders, they were like industrial style ones that you would have.
Yeah, that's what I used.
Yeah. So that's fine. And then I made the curtains out of drop cloths. And you guys, I'm not.
I did the same. That's what I did too.
Don't copy me. Stop it.
This was years ago. I didn't.
Oh, then I copied you.
No.
Sure.
I never put them up because I had the problem with the wind. So
mine work out very nicely. And again, it kind of, even though my porch is not gigantic, it just kind of like makes it cozier. And I don't have it on both sides. And, I hope my neighbors on the one side aren't like, hey, why did they put the curtains on one side and not the other? Like, what's wrong with us? But it goes behind the love seat. And so it just kind of encloses the area, particularly if you're out there at night. It's really lovely. So if you can even do that on a porch, or you could do that in your backyard, that would be pretty spectacular. Lighting makes a tremendous difference.
What a great place to put lighting. And, my favorite are the string lights. And so many of those are made for outdoor use. So
if you haven't done it yet, and if you can in any way, shape, or form, add some of those cafe lights. The ones that have the small round bulbs, not just Christmas lights. The cafe lights lend a whole different feel. And when you put those on in the evening, it is just magical.
Oh my goodness. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No matter what size you have, if you could just run something from one side to the other and maybe even zigzag it back and forth. And if you've got electric there, you are good to go. There's some great options on Amazon. That's where I got mine from. And we put them up. Gosh, it was for Laura's 13th birthday. And now she's 16. So they've been up for 3 years. And I really thought, well, you will put these up for the party and then we'll take them down. No. They are up for good. I put them on almost every night, even though I have to walk outside to the barn to turn them on and off, which, see, if I had thought this is going to be something I'm going to keep for forever, I would have had the forward thought to say, let's put some sort of light switch on the inside or make it so I could do something. There's probably some way I can do that, but so, I don't know, maybe some timer, maybe something like that. So I don't have to keep going outside. Yeah. So maybe do that if you're doing it, and you could maybe put them on a timer. It's so nice just to have them go on when it's dusk and go off at like 10 or 11. So nice.
I love that idea. But if you don't have a place for the string lights, if you don't have electricity, candles and lanterns are a great idea. And the reason the lanterns are such a wonderful idea for the candles is because it does block the wind. See, I'm to focus on the wind. It's going to keep your candles from going out because of the wind. So lanterns are a great way to, allow, and the light, magnifies the glass magnifies the light from the flame as well. So that's another thing to do. And you know what I did? My friend had an old chandelier that she was throwing away. And I said, can I have that? And I cut off the electrical connections. And then I glued on some little glass, the little votive holders, the little glass votive holders.
Right.
And I put little tea lights in it and hung it as from a chain in my dining room, on my back porch.
Oh, I just love that. That's so charming.
So there's a lot of things you can do, even if you don't have electricity back there.
That's so true. And you could even do those battery operated lights. I wouldn't leave them out there. Maybe overnight would be fine, but I wouldn't leave them out for long term. Even overnight, it gets dewy and the batteries might get funky, but you could definitely use those for parties or just, go outside and have it. Here's the thing about having your situation outside. If it's going to be a hassle every time and you got to drag all this stuff out and like start cleaning, I mean, you might have to wipe something down or something, but if you're going to make an outdoor space, it would be so great if it would just be easy for you to use it. So when you're thinking about your space, we're giving you all sorts of ideas. Some may work for you, some may not. But if you can situate it where, in your mind, you say, I'm not going to be a slave to my outdoor pillows or cushions. If they last a couple of years, they last a couple of years. Or, you know what, I'm just going to thrift and yard sale all the furniture out here. And so I don't care if it gets beaten by the sun, just as long as I can sit out there with my book when I want to, and it's not a big production. Try to set yourself up in whatever way you decorate your outdoor space in a way that it is as trouble-free as possible and as accessible to you as possible. Because, hey, look, we're all busy. And the idea, we joke about like the chairs inside that look so great and comfortable and would be so great to sit on if we had the time. we're trying to encourage everyone and ourselves to take the time. But if there's a barrier to entry, so to speak, if it's hard, if you have to go into a, like a big bin and pull out all the cushions every time, you're probably not going to do it.
Well, it's so interesting you say that because what you just said happened to me. We had a daybed on our back porch for a long time, and I know you've seen pictures of it. But we use the daybed as kind of a sofa back there, which means you have to have 4 pillows deep on the back so that you can sit and and you don't feel like a 4-year-old where your legs don't touch the ground.
I always feel like that, but okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so there's always pillows, so you're sitting a little closer to the edge,
right?
But then you can take them off and nap. Or somebody can sleep there if they want overnight. So that's what we had on our back porch. So I think there were, about 16 pillows. And they were indoor pillows. Well, I shouldn't say they were indoor. They were indoor, outdoor, whatever. But I put linen on them, so they really needed to go inside when we weren't using it. So all winter, where am I going to, at the farm, it's not a big house. What am I going to do with 16 pillows? I mean, they were thrown in the floor in the living room, or maybe we'd throw them in the bathtub, but then you couldn't use the bathtub.
In the bathtub! Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
I mean, they were a big pile that we would walk around all winter. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was just too much trouble to put them on. And then I had a cover for the mattress, to keep it safe, but then I'd have to clean that off. That would get dirty. And it was too much. So I took it off, and now I don't have to deal with that anymore. Thank goodness. Because so you really can be, I mean, I totally was a slave to it. So it can happen. It happened to me. Don't do that.
Oh yeah. No, I had spent years, because those outdoor pillows, even if it's just a toss pillow, they're not cheap. I mean, you look around, and if you're getting the sunbrella and something that really is going to hold up against the elements, and I'm thinking, these are an investment. I just bought 6 of these, and gosh darn it, I'm going to keep them. And I would cover them, and then tie them on so the wind didn't blow them on, or I put them away, and I had a big bag for them. And then, gosh, and then one day I was just like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to just be free of them, and I'm going to enjoy what I have. And if it lasts, it lasts. Who knows? I could get run over by a bus next week, and at least I got to sit outside and enjoy a nice tea and a magazine in my pretty backyard. So I encourage everyone to be free from the burdens of your outdoor decor and just kind of roll with it and enjoy it. If you can, a really beautiful thing to add is some sort of water element. And you think I'm joking, but this could be like a sprinkler. It could be just the littlest thing. Adding.
Well, there's so many tabletop little water fountains too.
Right.
Yeah,
there really are. I have some of the smaller fountains. I will tell you, in my experience, I've had trouble with the pumps and drains and all of that, and that became more trouble than it's worth. So I made mine into a succulent fountain filled with succulents and rocks. But if you have some sort of way that you can add a little water. We used to have swimming pools in prior houses. We don't have a swimming pool in this house, and I'm actually very glad we chose not to go that route for our family right now. So that is obviously the ultimate water element, and you might have some water flowing from the pool to the hot tub or something like that. It's spectacular. But seriously, you could get just something really small, and even if it's a bird, like a little bird bath, and you just have still water in it and the birds get to splash around in it. It's just lovely to have a water element in your yard somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. And something I like just as much as a water element is a hammock.
Oh, yeah.
They are so comfortable. And I love, there's one, I think it's called maybe a Mayan, but I have one that's got the crocheted kind of, what would you call it? Kind of a crocheted edge that's really pretty. Mm-hmm. That looks very inviting. And those are fun to hang. So, we love putting up a hammock, and it doesn't take that long to set up a hammock. I don't think that's quite the same. And they fold up nicely and you can throw it someplace small. But I think that's very worth having. If you can fit that in your patio somewhere, I think you'd really like that.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. and let them know your friends at DTT sent you. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off, yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Another thing that you can add to your patio, deck, or porch decor are garden stools. We talk about garden stools inside a lot, so let's use them for the purpose they were originally intended. Let's use them in the garden. So you can have them as seating, side tables, or even just a pop of color. They come in, I think almost every color in the rainbow. A client of mine, we just got this really pretty teal colored one for inside her house. So that's sort of her pop color. And then she liked it so much. She said, well, what if we got a few for outside? I was like, yeah. So she just ordered 4 more and we're going to put them all around her yard. And she has these big sliding doors. So you're going to be able to see the inside to the outside. And so the teal is going to be, her pop color going to be circulating all around the backyard as it does inside. So that's a wonderful way to add color, add charm to an area that's big or small.
I love garden stools. And you're right, they are so versatile. You can use them inside, outside, use them as extra seating, use them as a side table. They are just perfect. They're small, they go about anywhere, and what a great thing to use really anywhere you need something special. So I'm with you on that one.
Let me say one more thing before you go on about the garden stools. A garden stool has no moving parts, and it's made normally of ceramic and with glaze on it, sometimes cement. Okay, so there's really nothing special about one as compared to the other, except for perhaps the color or the design. But there are such a range of prices.
Yes.
I have seen garden stools for over $300. Which is the silliest thing, really, because, there are things that you really need to be spending money on, like maybe these outdoor sunbrella pillows that will stand up to the elements, or a great umbrella base, something like that for outside. But you do not need to be spending more than, let's say, $50 to $70 on a garden stool, in my opinion. Just keep looking. If you have a certain color that you want, I bet you there's a lower price one in that same color family out there somewhere on the internet.
I think that's a great idea because it is all about where you're shopping and knowing who has good prices, who doesn't. And it's like you said, it's not really something electronic where if you buy the cheaper version,
Right.
you're going to get gypped.
No,
It's pretty much the
is
same
what it is.
product no matter where you buy it. So
Yeah.
what great.
For my client, I mean, that's, I've seen this in my life and my own garden stools, but then it was just brought to my attention again. I showed her the general, a catalog came in. I saw this particular garden stool and I ripped it out for, just to show her next time I saw her. Have a look at this. Do you like it? But we're going to find a cheaper version. It was $270 plus shipping. And I bet the shipping would have been expensive because it's a big bulky item.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's a big overstock shopper. So we found another one in the exact same color. And I actually like the design better.
I was going to say, might even be the same one.
It could even be the same one, but I mean, it could be, right? It really depends. And so we got it at Overstock, and you get those coupons from them all the time. I think she got they always give you some weird amount off. She got like 18%
Right.
off or something.
Yeah, that's what I just got. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
So
what about, oh, go ahead. Are you finished with
No,
that?
I'm done.
Okay. All right. So
I got a little excited about the garden stool.
I know.
Yeah,
well,
I'm
I
done.
know that
I'm done.
That you do get very excited
I do
about
like
garden
them a lot, yes.
garden stools. Another thing to think about are the sounds. So I love some wind chimes. Do you ever use wind chimes? I think they're really nice to have, as long as they're not.
I like wind. I don't know. They're kind of like dream catchers for me. Like, I don't really like them.
Well,
is that okay? I just don't really like
sure,
them. I mean, I like the sound. Every once in a while you hear it, but
here's
like
here's
all
the
the
caveat.
time.
Well, right.
How do you have wind chimes anyway? It must be so like it must be cacophonious by you.
No,
with the wind chime.
We had to take them down, but because it was too much, and then it went all night long. Clink,
right.
Clink.
You're like,
but if you don't have a lot of wind and it's not going off all the time,
right.
I mean, it is nice.
It's charming.
It is nice to have. So and so if it's not going off all the time, and some of them sound better than others, so I'm just saying it's nice to have a pleasant sound. So if you do not have a water feature, a fountain, that might be some other way to add a nice sound, but definitely check into how it exactly sounds to make sure it is something you're going to enjoy hearing a lot of.
Yeah. Check it out. Definitely. But that is a really good point about sound and adding some internal, if you will, sound, like sounds that emanate from your yard. So whether it's a water sound or a wind chime sound, or using planting material in a smart way to block out sound. So if you're on a busy street, or your neighborhood is as busy and loud, or if you've got kids next door, or the boy down the block is learning to play the drums, things like that, you'd be surprised how effective planting materials, particularly hedging materials. So I'm talking about, tall plants that could grow, 10 feet tall or something like that, how much they can help keep the sound out that you don't want coming in.
Well, and speaking of keeping sound out, sometimes there's some views you don't want to have either. While we're in the city, the houses are on either side of us. I mean, I think we could jump from our roof to the neighbor's roof, and I'm not a long jumper. I mean, it's just that close. So, when you're on our back porch, you just see this wall, a few feet away, and it's nice to have something to block that. So you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and find some material to use, kind of like some sort of trellis or something to block that view. Or you can even buy something pre-made that you can, have a vine on or something that would block the view. So that's something you can do as well. Or curtains would also help.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of innovative ways. I mean, that's kind of like, necessity is the mother of invention. That's kind of how I came up with the idea with the meshing and the jasmine growing up. Mm-hmm. That is on the yard side of our driveway. So we have the other side of the driveway, which is adjacent to the neighbors. Ours are very close as well, Anita. We're, in more of an urban setting too. So we have hedges growing there, but they take a while to grow. So the jasmine is really doing a great job once you're in the yard, like if you're standing in the yard, you can't really see over now that it's growing taller. So that's going to be great as that keeps going up on the trellising. But you can definitely add all sorts of things like that. Gardener's Supply is a great resource for sort of maybe an 8-foot wide trellis or lattice work that you could just even move around your yard if needs be, if you couldn't get a whole bunch of them, or putting bigger trees in pots. Once a tree starts to really grow and getting wider, that can do a lot to block a view.
Oh, that's a great idea. And another thing I wanted to talk about is my favorite accessory on a porch is a rocking chair. So, think about having some comfortable seating. If you have some place that's comfortable to sit, I think you're more likely to go out there and enjoy it. So make sure you do have a comfortable place to sit. There's so many beautiful, beautiful outdoor seating options that are available now. And, and then you can be creative. For example, I found a church pew in Round Top, of course, and that's on our back porch. So that's some extra seating as well. That's not as comfortable as the rockers, but I do have it out there.
That's so cool. I love that. We did add a fireplace here. I just thought, I love that whole California.
Is this a wood one, or did you do the gas?
No, it's gas. Again, sort of for the convenience factor. And there was some sort of moratorium on wood-burning fireplaces in our community. So if you had one, you were okay to keep it, but you really couldn't put one of those in. So we have a gas one. Okay. Mm-hmm. I bought the fireplace. It's very simple from a company called Woodland Direct, and it actually gets shipped to you in like 3 pieces.
Is it a fireplace or a fire pit?
It's a fireplace.
Oh, nice.
And it's very simple. It's white, sort of stucco. In saying white stucco, you might think, oh, it's sort of a Mediterranean look. It's really not. The design of it is so simple and sort of squared off. I thought it just really went well with the house. And then instead of buying the logs, we're using the glass shards, the glass rocks that you can get. And people have probably seen those in different fireplaces. I just love the way that looks. It's definitely like a little bit more of a modern look. And it's so pretty when the fireplace is on. So if you are looking for an outdoor fireplace or a fire pit, I know that there are all sorts of options out there. Something you have to be really careful with, obviously, and you want to have the gas hookup done properly, and then the how the pipes are coming into the fireplace and all that. Check out Woodland Direct. I have no affiliation with them other than I bought my fireplace from them. But, that's the only thing they do. Even if you just go on there and maybe you read their blog or you get some information, and then you can do with that what you will and maybe shop around other places. But I don't know, like buying fire pits from places like Wayfair and stuff kind of makes me a little nervous. Like it's fire, like, I don't know. So it's like, I would be careful. So
they're not shipping it on fire.
I know they're not shipping it on fire and stuff, but
they're not igniting it
what
before they
it's
put
made
it in the box.
of, and how all the parts are. You don't want something like that to go wrong and have gas leaking, even if it is outside. So I think Woodland Direct is a good resource to check out, and I love our fireplace.
Well, I have a fantasy item I want for my porch.
Oh, do tell.
One of those hanging day beds. Have you seen them?
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, how much more can you fit on this porch?
Well, I know.
We've got a
there's
pew,
not room.
We've got a dining room table, a china cabinet, and now a hanging one?
Well, I know. I may not have room for it, but I said it's a fantasy.
But I guess you could. I mean, if you took something out, you could fit it, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I've got room for it. Yeah, I just moved something out or elsewhere.
No, they're beautiful.
I love them. And I just love the idea of the swinging. You really do have to, you can't put it too close to the railing or too close to something, because the whole point of it is to really enjoy it. You really need to be able to let it swing.
Right.
But that sounds so relaxing. I feel like I could really take a good nap in one of those. I know you're not a napper, but
I could not nap.
I know, but
I could sit there swinging around. I might get a little nauseous though. No, my mom had one of those at the house when their last house they lived in New York. Oh yeah, it was beautiful. But I don't think I sat out there that much because I was kind of like, I don't know, in law school or something, and I wasn't around that much. But And my mom was always running around doing something like hosing something off or something. Like she should have enjoyed it more. But yeah, it was beautiful. It was really pretty. And then she had a pretty wreath that she always made a pretty wreath for the seasons that she put over it.
How fun.
On the wall, but it was, I guess, attached to the ceiling and then away enough that you could have a little swing to it. But there's a lot of those out there. I think there's a couple, but it's like a husband and wife team. Is it, have you seen them on Instagram? Handmade?
That does sound familiar.
Right. Like a play on hand, but it's ham. I think that's their last name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's
clever. I think they make those and that's all they make.
Well, I mean, they probably sell a lot of those. I think they're really
but
nice.
I mean, that's their only product. I think that's, so they probably do a really good job.
Well, and you have to have a lot of room for it. I mean, really, if you don't have room for that, you'd really need to, but you could do the swing, the old time porch swing.
Right.
Would be an alternative as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But I just thought, what would be the ultimate tool of laziness? And I'm thinking I would like to take a nap on the swinging thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. You know what I think the ultimate tool is with respect to everything we're talking about is just making a little time to go out there and sit. And if you try to plan it in your day, and I didn't always do this, and I'm not always successful at it. Like last weekend,
go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. We're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order.
I was going to read, I'm reading a book now, an actual book, not just a magazine and not an online thing. And I was going to take my book and I was going to have, depending on the time of day I got out there, either an iced tea or a glass of wine. Are you going to
tell us what you're reading?
Well, yeah, I can tell you that, but it was, the day got away from me and I didn't get to do it. But I was really trying. I was gunning for it. That was my goal. And I didn't make it. And that's okay. It started to get dark and everybody was hungry and it was time to start, put the barbecue on and start dinner and all of that. So that slipped away from me, but it is going to be my goal. And this is off the topic of outdoor decor, but I have started to do a little something on Sunday mornings. And maybe, it's not a new thing at all, but it's kind of a new thing for me. It's even if it's just 15 or 20 minutes, I'm taking 15 or 20 minutes in the morning on Sundays before the day gets rolling. And I'm just sitting with my cup of tea. I'm not, undoing the dishwasher or anything like that. And I sit on that chaise that I just bought in the living room, which is now everybody's favorite place to sit. And I read whatever I feel like reading, or I look at whatever I feel like looking. And 3 doggies jump up with me and we just have, I feel totally recharged.
Wow.
And so
I think that's a great idea.
And I'm really trying to do it. Yes, it hasn't. I started maybe a month ago. I haven't done it every Sunday because one Sunday something happened. So if I don't get to do that, I'm really gunning for a particular spot.
How long do you take? 15
or 20 minutes.
Well, we should try to do this every day.
Yeah, that would be nice. But I'm saying, like, if you're going to make all the effort to create this beautiful outdoor space, it shouldn't just be because you're having a birthday party or you're having a barbecue.
True.
Do it for your family. Do it for yourself. Do it for the everyday. Style it in a way that is comfortable for you and that stuff that is pretty much carefree, worry-free, or choose not to worry about it and just use it. Because the time is, particularly if you live in a place where there's 4 seasons, the time is pretty fleeting.
I think once you do some of these things, you're going to be so excited about it, you are going to go out and enjoy it.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Well, anything else?
Well, I do have a crush for today. And because this was a reader suggested episode, that's our reader question, was a whole episode. Okay. So that was, thank you again so much for this great suggestion, Debbie B. And I hope that we gave you a lot of good tips and everybody else.
Yes, thanks, Debbie.
My crush today is a campaign that Monrovia is doing. And that is a company that is near and dear to my heart. I use all Monrovia plants in my garden. I think they have the most beautiful plants, the healthiest plants, but they're doing something that's really cool right now that I want to tell you guys about. It's called Planted Forward, #Planted Forward. And it is phenomenal. It's good for the whole earth. It's good for you. It's good for me. It's good for everybody. So what's going on is Monrovia has partnered with another organization that is planting trees all over the globe. So if you get involved in the Planted Forward campaign, based on your efforts of just planting something, just anything, a tree will be planted. So here's how you get in on it. You plant something. It could be a container pot. It could be seeds. It could be absolutely anything. Snap a photo of it and post it to your Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag #PlantItForward. And then tag 3 friends to do the same. Monrovia will see that you did that. They'll pick up the hashtag and they'll get right on it and plant a tree based on your efforts. So it's a wonderful way to have what they're hoping to be 1 trillion trees planted to save the earth and fight the climate crisis. So are you in? I am so in. I have so many things to plant and I'm snapping pictures and I'm hashtagging it with Planted Forward and I'm tagging friends. So I might be tagging you. So tag me if you want, but tag 3 other friends too to give it a try and really help the whole world by just planting something in your own garden. So it's Planted Forward. Get on it. There's also a great giveaway going on in conjunction with Planted Forward, and I'll have the link to that in the show notes. I also will include a link to the instructions for Planted Forward, but it's just as easy as I outlined here.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing that. So my crush is something I found as we were cleaning the porch, and I thought about using some harsh chemicals to clean the porch railing, and we just couldn't bring ourselves to do that. We really try to use non-toxic cleaning products in place of the more toxic ones that kill plants, and they're not good for people or anybody. But anyway, something that we use to help get the dirt off, in addition to our natural cleaning products, is we found one of these spray wands that kind of convert your hose sort of into a pressure washer. Now, it's not the same thing as a pressure washer, so I don't want to build up the expectations too high, but it's as close as you're going to get, to a pressure washer from your garden hose, because it just really sprays a very concentrated stream of water, and it's a higher speed and pressure than you would normally get from a garden hose, from a regular pistol grip. So I think that really helped us with the cleaning chores. I'll include a link to it, but but it's not the same as a pressure washer. So I don't mean to imply that it's not worth $300. Let's put it that way. But it did a really nice job. I think if your expectations are reasonable, you'll be very happy with it.
So it's something that you attach you take off your sprayer nozzle, and then you
just take off your nozzle, and then you screw this one on the end of the hose. And then you can adjust the spray, whether it's wide or narrow, and then you can adjust how much water is coming out.
Oh, so it's somewhere in between what you would get on like the high spray on your hose and a pressure washer. It's somewhere in between?
Yes, exactly.
Well, that sounds good. I might get that for my driveway, because I feel like we just there's some...
I don't know if it's
splatter on it and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to get that off. I'm just saying, I think, and here's the thing too, I don't like using a pressure washer on my house, because it does just peel the paint off like crazy.
Oh yeah.
So this isn't that much pressure, so it's going to be a lot better for the paint on your house.
Oh, but that's just good to know about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you had mildew or mold on your driveway, I don't think this is going to get it up.
Okay.
No, I'm not a miracle worker,
No, it's just passing along the information.
Just passing it along.
Good deal.
So, well, I'm so excited to go outside now. So because I've got to go work on my porch now.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you have tips for us to share, or a topic that you want us to cover, or a question that you'd like us to address, please email us at decoratingtipsandtricks@gmail.com. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home and porch and patio. Until next time.
I want to remind you that we are available for design consults. We take on your design dilemmas, questions, renovations, any project you want to talk about, any room, any space. We are here for you. And we really do enjoy doing these. And I think we've helped people a lot. So if you want to sign up for a consult, head to the link in the show notes. It's decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. We hope to talk to you soon.